Hey everyone, this is going to be a equipment review for the Blade Tech DOH holster. It's made from Kydex. I'll go into a bit what DOH means, but basically I use this holster for my Tokumarui 5.1 high kappa. It's made for this one in particular, anything that has a short dust cover and a 5-inch slide. This one in particular, this holster was made for the SVI Infinity short dust cover 5-inch, so you can kind of tell it has, you know, the impressions of it right here. So let's begin on what exactly is the great thing about this holster. So the first thing that I want to mention is the DOH system. What that means is dropped and offset, and it also has this tech lock attachment. What dropped and offset is when you loop this through your belt, it's going to sit slightly lower. It's not going to be right next to your hip. It's going to be sitting a little bit lower, and it's offset a bit. So I'm a tiny bit overweight, and when I have holsters right next to my hip, it kind of hits against the side. So this helps a lot out with that. It's also made for, I guess, women, since they have bigger hips. You know, sometimes a regular side holster will kind of hit them in their hip, so this helps that out. It's also somewhat much more natural to grab. So let's say you have a pistol in there, it sits a little bit much more natural to your thigh, and when you go to pull it out, it feels a little bit better. You can change the cant on this holster by removing these screws from the back, and also by removing, I believe these these can be removed on there if you have the attachment. There's an attachment, so if you want to make it a side holster for whatever reason, you put it right to your hip, you can actually take this whole DOH thing off and put one right there. And it could have that 45-degree cant, that FBI cant, you know, all that. So it's a really versatile, you know, holster. This tech lock attachment, what that is basically there's this notch right here. You're able to switch the width of this. So let's say you have a 2-inch belt for your holster. All you gotta do is move this whole thing in there, and you put it lower, and it'll fit a 2-inch. If you have a 1.5 belt like I do, you're gonna do the same thing, except you move it up, and it gives it a good, you know, friction, so it's not moving around, wobbling, and all that. The holster has a few tension screws you can adjust, one right here and one right here. I've set mine a little bit so it's a little loose, because I don't really play a lot of field where, you know, this falling out might be an issue, but even then on my slightly loose setting, it's still pretty sturdy. If I press it hard, if I push it hard, I mean, yeah, it comes out. But you can set this really tight so it never comes out. Some people like it tight, some people like it loose. No pun intended. But anyways, yeah, you basically got to get like a balance between, you know, how tight and how loose you want it for these two screws. So the way I have it right now is perfect. Now some people are a little bit concerned about scratching their sidearms. With any holster you're gonna have scratches on your, you know, frame and your slide, but with Kydex holsters you will have a lot more of that. This slide I've used a lot. I don't know if the camera can capture it, but I have frame wear right here, a considerable amount of frame wear. Let's see if it catches it, and also slide wear. So it's usually around the end right here. So, you know, if that doesn't bug you, you know, then it's perfect. But, you know, some people have workhorses that they don't care how it looks. You know, they just want something that performs really good and is able to, you know, be there for them. So that's what this used to be for me. Right now I just have it on a different frame, but the frame I had it on before had a lot of wear on it. So what would I recommend this holster for, or who in particular I would recommend it for? Anyone who's looking for a good 5.1 holster. There's not really a lot of 5.1 holsters. I believe, who is it that came out? Edge, Tech, but they have another name. They have RTI attachments and all that. I had one of their holsters, I forgot what it was. But they just came out with a 5.1 holster for a whole bunch of, you know, different sizes. They got the 3.26, they got a 4.26, then they have the 5.1 inch holster. So that works with all the high kappas that are out there. but you know, you gotta get that specific one, and you know, I'm gonna try them out one day. But so far, when I had gotten this was the only Kydex 5.1 holster that was out there, so this is the one I went for. It ranges for about $70, I believe, $69.99. Same thing if you don't want the drop-in offset, you can have the regular one that attaches to your hip, that sits right at your hip, the little attachment point. That's also for $69.99, but you might as well just get this and buy the attachment point, because I believe this is a bit more expensive, but I may be wrong on that. But yeah, this holster is pretty much, you know, top-notch. It's good, perfect for anyone that does a lot of field pistol play. Just because, you know, if you're rolling around, you know, you don't want to get your pistol damaged. You know, it takes all that damage. You know, I'm pretty sure there's no how you're going to be hitting things, but yeah, it's just a good holster. Even the CQB environments, it's really good just to, you know, have something to put your pistol in, even though a lot of people don't really use a holster unless they have a primary AEG that they use, or some sort of, you know, different primary that's not a pistol. You know, they're going to need something else, and this will benefit them. I don't recommend any of those Molly holsters, only because the 5.1 has the magazine catch is kind of extended, so when you have it in one of those holsters like the tornado holsters, it'll always hit this mag when you're running or even walking. It always ejects the mags, and that was one of the few problems I ran into, and I hate it with those Molly holsters. You know, you can kind of work with them. You can cut out the little notch that covers this, but then that ruins the whole holster, and you know, there's really no point into doing that. So it's better just to get Kydex, especially since I like Kydex way better, and you know, this thing has lasted me, I've had it for about 6 months, and in the summer when I was playing a lot, this thing never failed me. I mean, I never had my high kappa come out of here, I never had it be damaged by this, except for that frame wear. But again, this would be a workhorse pistol. If you have any like nice IPSC pistols, or you know, metal slides, things, black frames, things like that you don't want to wear, then maybe this is not for you. You might want to get one of those Big Dragon IPSC holsters, or something else that's IPSC related that just attaches either to the trigger or a combination of the trigger and the muzzle. But as far as that goes, this holster is good for, you know, other pistols, or 5.1 pistols in general. If you don't mind that, if you have a plastic slide, if you don't care about that, you just want a holster that'll work and will be there for you, this is it right here. So this is me demonstrating how the 5.1 holster by BladeTech works. It's easy to take out and put back in. It sits well on my waistline, and this is how the drop offset works. It's just, you know, little lower to the thigh. Very easy to take out, despite the, you know, tension screws. It's really smooth to take out, really smooth to put back in. And again, you can adjust any of that screws that you want, or you know, your own, however you like it set. As you can see, it doesn't wobble when I come out. You know, it's just sits perfectly. It doesn't put too much weight, despite it being Kydex. It's just a good overall holster. And it's right there, I accidentally put it in with the slide lock, but still perfect holster. I'm going to be demonstrating a little bit of holster and unholstering with it, and shooting at a target in front. So here we go. Speed reload. At the end, I was having feeding issues. I determined that the BB that was in there was a little bad, so I had to push it up for it to finally feed. Yeah, you can see I'm a little whizzed out by it, but whatever. And this is just the mag dump portion of it. This is, you know, I'm just going to demonstrate again how easy it is to unholster and holster the actual pistol.